Hello, everyone. This is Howard Fox, and welcome back for another episode of the Outdoor Adventure Series, the podcast that celebrates individuals and families, businesses, and organizations that seek out and promote the exploration, stewardship, conservation, access, and enjoyment of the outdoors. Sable Ryan is our guest today. Sable is a relocation and lifestyle strategist. She leads Your Elevated Experiences, where she guides her clients, especially Black women over 40, through bold lifestyle transitions using her signature, and I love this word, Bougie Relocation Blueprint. Her mission is very clear. It's to help women stop just dreaming about freedom and start living it globally and in community. Sable, it's good to see you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to talk about being outside, especially when it's so cold here. I'm in Maryland today.
I agree with that, and we have to give our listeners just a little bit of context. Sable and I have known each other for many years, and last year, as I was watching or reading her post on Facebook and LinkedIn, she was suddenly living in another country other than, on the East Coast of the US, where she's actually sitting right now, freezing her little butt off. I'm in Las Vegas, so I'm gonna be warm today. It's gonna be 60 today, so
Oh
but
my gosh,
I know you would.
60. We're
Everybody
not
loves
jealous.
that. I just tell them, hey, look, between July and September, feel free to give me grief when it's 120 degrees out there. But so for our listeners, Sable and I have known each other. We were in a mastermind together. And this idea, and we've explored it before on the podcast, is the folks who are, I call them digital nomads, or folks call them digital nomads, but I've never really had a good friend of mine who's just like picked up and left. And so Sable, I would love, catch us up. What have you been up to? And tell us a little bit about your background. And then we'll just kind of hear the story of where you ended up.
Okay. Yeah, so this is 1 year later into this, when my whole world turned upside down, I would say. I wouldn't even say upside down, but just kind of how one decision, one person's decision, and my one decision changed my life. So last year, this time, I was sitting there. Let's see, this is what is this? January 30th.
Yeah.
Last year, January 30th, I was sitting going, oh my gosh, what has just happened? Working
Right.
for the federal government, I was one of the first people who they kind of asked to go on leave. And I had to ask myself, now what do you want to do? You're 62 years old. I didn't know if I had a job or didn't have a job. It was very ambiguous, but I did know for sure I wanted to do something different. And for the
Hmm.
last 5 years, well, for the last couple of years, I had been talking about I am going to retire in Panama. I am going
Okay.
to retire in Panama. And so that was kind of like the dream. But like most people, I was talking about it, but doing nothing about it.
Hmm.
I had not been to the country. I had not researched the country. I just knew it was a country and somebody there. There were people living there who spoke Spanish, and I wanted to live there when I retired. And so
Okay.
that was pretty much all I knew.
Okay. So a couple questions. I get the major upheaval a year ago. I mean, and a lot of people are suddenly faced with these decisions like, what am I going to do now? Had you, so you had always wanted to live in Panama before this event last year, or how did Panama get on your radar?
So it was always part of the retirement plan. So that was the
Ah,
retirement plan
gotcha.
that so I always say that I wanted to retire with flip-flops, sister locks, and tank tops. That was the retirement, right? Like I just wanted to totally um just have a retirement of freedom. And people were saying like, what are sister locks? It's a hairstyle that Black women wear where we don't have to do anything to our hair that most of us don't feel comfortable wearing. We're in corporate world. So I
Right.
knew that this was going to be freedom. This was going to mean freedom for me. And so the fact that I was just going to look for this life of ease, and I knew Panama was going to be one of the places that could
Okay.
do that for me.
All right. Very interesting. And thank you for educating me. I was trying to figure out what are sister locks and okay. I have no hair and I'm aging white guy. Okay.
Yeah,
So
you're not quite
I'm
a candidate just yet.
I've got a candidate just yet, but I can live vicariously through you. I can do that. Because that's why you're here, because I want to hear how you did it. So you've got the background and experience. Now you were in HR, so you're used to navigating uncertainty and change almost 365 days a year, just given that role.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You never know what's going to be a day of fire, where you need your fire extinguisher to put out some fires. There's always a fire. But I also had lived in several countries
Okay.
before and worked in a lot of different countries. And I've also had helped other companies when I had my own HR firm when I lived in Nigeria. I had clients where I would help them relocate their staff from one country to the next
Okay.
and get them settled in and bringing staff from various countries. So relocating people and me relocating was something that was already in me and something I was already doing.
Okay. So you actually had the makings of the recipe. Yeah, you had all the ingredients. So that's good because I mean, some people go right to YouTube, which is what I do. I want to learn something.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do my
YouTube
AI, I do my
University.
Google search, and then I start looking at YouTube videos, and I figure out I can trust these folks. These folks, eh, no, not in my lifetime. All right, so once this event happened, you found yourself retired from the government. How did you take your first step to say, okay, I'm going to head to Panama. I'm going to see what this is all about. Do I even want to be here? How did that happen?
My thing was, I'm looking at the job market,
Hmm.
and this is early January, right? So this is before the major layoffs or the decimation of the federal government where so many federal workers were out.
Hmm.
This was where I I just looked and kept remembering all the open to work signs on people's LinkedIn profiles. I thought about how people were already talking about it's gonna take them 18 months
Hmm.
before they can find, work, and I just thought, "Wow, at this age, over
Hmm.
60, at
Yeah.
this age, do I really wanna go out into that job market?" Like,
Hmm.
I'm very realistic. Ageism is alive and well, it does exist. And so when you're starting to show your experience and people are looking at those dates, they're wondering, they also have this image of what a person who's over 60 looks like, how they're going to work, what their attitude is. So I ask myself, do I really want to be involved in that? Do I really want to be on this place where I now am going to have to go into an organization, start proving my skills, proving my worth? Because also I'm not an entry level employee, right?
Right.
So, and so looking for those kind of roles that's going to match your skills, your experience, your education. And I just thought, yeah, no, no,
Okay.
that's not the place I really want to go. And why not go live, you're a retirement age. Why not retire now?
Okay.
Why not retire now? So I knew I didn't want to fully retire, right? I love working. I
Hmm.
absolutely love working. And so I just thought, why don't I go now and begin to figure out how you want to live?
Okay.
How
That's
do you want to
important.
live?
So when did when did you make the once you started to get the answers to those questions for yourself? And I would imagine you're not just having a conversation with yourself, you're having a conversation with loved ones, best friends, BFFs, a lot of people. How did you when did you buy that ticket to Panama? What was it like to get that ticket? You're on the plane, now I'm here, now what do I do?
Yeah, and so for me, I kept saying for months, like, oh, I feel a pulling, right? I feel like Panama is pulling me. And then I thought, I'm going to go in March. I'm going to check it out and then I'll come back. But one thing happens after another. So, and next thing I know, it was almost March and I still had not actually done anything. And so finally, I just thought, I'm going to go pack up my whole house. I'm just going to go. And so when I moved in July, it was because I felt like I had been taking too much time of planning and not doing,
Mhm.
too much time of talking about I was going to go. But I really, we're already in July. I was talking about this since February and still, I just saw like time was going by. So finally, when I bought the ticket, I thought, like, yeah, I'm moving to Panama. So what? Big deal, right? I don't know what the place is like, but I'll figure it out when I get there. If I had never visited before. So buying the ticket meant nothing. Packing up my whole house, no big deal. It was when I rolled all my stuff down to the road, waiting for my Uber to take me to the airport. I was like, "Oh, shoot, you're doing this."
Oh boy.
"Oh, wow, this is happening. You are doing this." And it was at that moment that I realized, "Girl, you are about to go to some country that you have never been to before." I had, like, 3, 4 suitcases, my golf clubs, because I love to golf, and I'm like, you don't know anybody. You, never been there before." So, that's when it finally kinda, like, just hit me that
Okay.
it was real.
So when you got there, and I don't think we have the time to go into the details, but when did you begin to feel like this is home for me? And what were some lessons learned for you?
For me, the first month I spent in an Airbnb,
Mhm.
right? An Airbnb on a golf course. I had already kinda had that all picked out before I had landed.
Okay.
And so thought, yeah, this is where I was going to stay. But after being there for a couple of weeks, I realized I wanted to live closer into the city. So I probably would say it felt like home more so in October. So I
Okay.
came in July. I stayed for a month. I stayed in this place, and then I realized this is not where I want to live. I kind of started looking for a new place. Came back to the states because remember this was not originally my plan for life. So I had a lot of commitments still left that I had to attend to. Came back to
Mhm.
the states for a month, and then when I came back in July, I moved into my own apartment. And moving in, it was like, yeah, this is home. This is where I live. And building community was so easy. Um,
Really?
I I built there is a large expat community and a very large US expat community and a very large Black US expat community. So
Okay.
there are large expat communities, and so you can tap into so many things to do. If you never learn the language, you can just hang out with American people the whole time.
Right. Okay. Now, so you've got the community. I mean, you had your have golf clubs will travel, so you already have 3 new friends you can meet literally anytime you
Yeah.
go on the golf course. I am curious, and then we'll come back to the experience in Panama and really beginning to create this life. Were there other countries that were on your radar? I mean, you've mentioned Panama, you're very specific about it, but because I mean, in talking
I
to the
know, there's
roommate
so
or
many, right?
boyfriend,
Like, there's so many countries. Why Panama? I visited Costa Rica, like, around during COVID, like, 2020, and I thought, "Wow, this might be a good place to retire." I just
mhm,
kinda, like we kinda thought about it. I was like, "Yeah, this might be a good place to come and retire. This might be a good place for investment." But when I kinda start hearing things, like, about Panama in terms of you can use Medicare, you can use your vet benefits, you use the US dollar. I thought,
okay,
I just changed, right? I had already lived in Africa. I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do, too far away. I knew I wanted some place with strong infrastructure, and that's
okay,
what it really offered.
okay, well, that's good. I love that. I mean, it's certainly on the list. I mean, I have a list,
Number
my
one place to
roommate, her
retire.
boyfriend have the list. given on what's going on in this country, that list is, it's taped to the wall. So you get there, you're starting to make the life. What were some of your lessons learned for you that you would then want to, because I know you've got this entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, you and I were both in this mastermind.
Hmm.
What was it? Sales Authenticity Success Mastermind. Lisa Sasovich there. I gave her a shout out. Uh, uh, when you got there, and what were some of your lessons learned, and how are you now starting to impart those lessons for others who want to make the leap that you made?
Lesson learned for me probably was mostly stop talking about it, do it, right?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
all those months I spent, like, and because it was a very chaotic time. So let
Hmm.
me just kind of also say, it was a very chaotic time. It was a lot of time of uncertainty. But what I find I did, and what I find even like a lot of our clients are doing is we're asking other people, like, what we're trying to read what they want to do to decide what we should do, right?
Mm.
In not taking control of our situation, not taking control of our circumstances. And so that probably would be lesson learned. Like, I knew in the beginning I wanted to do something different and I should have started executing that plan. But
Okay.
instead, I was like, "Oh, let me see what the government's gonna do. Oh, let me see what's happening out here." And I should have just said, "This is what I wanted to do." What I hear a lot of people say is, "Well, what about my children?" Because, I work with, more mature people. So they're worried about their adult children. They're worried about their aging parents. They're worried about their siblings. They're worried about their grandchildren, as opposed to worrying about yourself.
Yeah.
Because people make decisions that are great for them.
Hmm.
And most people don't consult us when they're making decisions that are good for their life. But for some reason, and I would just say as a Black woman, we do a lot of making sure everybody else is okay, putting the oxygen mask on them first
Uh-huh.
before we put it on ourselves. And so therefore, we kind of delay our move. And that's what I did. I kind of was like, well, how's this going to work out for? How would this affect? And I should have just said, this is good for me and I'm gone.
Okay. So you and I met back in, was it 2017, 2018, one of those years.
Yeah, when I was living in Ethiopia.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, I remember having these conversations with you about coffee, but we don't have to go there. Does Panama have good coffee, by the way?
They do. They do.
Okay, I may
Maybe I'll
have to
make
come
sure
and
you get a
visit. You got a
package
spare
this
bedroom?
time.
All right. Or at least I'll rent a condo in your facility. But I'm all about the coffee. So, had you begun to think about taking care of yourself back in 2018, would you have moved sooner? Would you have made that leap sooner,
No.
or no, just not ready for it yet?
My life, what my life looked like in 2017, 2018 is totally different what my life looked like in 2025, right? So
Okay.
2017, I had um, two girls who were off to college. I was in a 20 something year marriage, and my mindset was totally different.
Okay.
My mindset. So even though I was living in Ethiopia, my family was living in the US, I was commuting every month. I was
Oh,
going back
wow.
and forth every single month. And so I would have not just probably, I would have, yeah, if my kids were going to college, I probably would have, it would have been okay for them to move. If my spouse at that time said, yes, they were interested in moving, I would have moved, right? But
Oh,
if my
okay.
spouse said they were not interested in moving, I probably would have not moved in
Okay.
2017. Yeah.
Okay. So you're in Panama. Well, you're visiting. I'm assuming you're just a short visit to Maryland, just so you can feel cold and snow and all that good stuff.
I came to check out my investments, but yeah, and I got stuck.
Okay. So how have you begun to then, like you, I like to work. I mean, I can see, I mean, I can coach and podcast anywhere in the world. That's the beauty of this
Absolutely.
transition that I made.
Absolutely.
And What how are you taking this entrepreneurial spirit and beginning to help others start to put what they need, what they want to the forefront and starting to make that happen? What's that looking like for you right now?
So now, I help other people do exactly what I did. I get a lot of people asking, "Well, me too," raising their hand. "I wanna live somewhere else." And so we started a boutique firm just helping people move and giving them all the steps that they would need. In my case, I was able to move so quickly and basically without all the information because I had done it so many times and I had done it for other people. So I knew all the parts that were needed. I knew
Okay.
about shipping, logistics, immigration. I understood those things. I understood that when I went somewhere that I probably won't find all the same things that I love to do or eat or shower with or, all the things. And so now that's what our organization, which is Your Elevated Experiences, we help Black women over 40 because they are the largest group of people who are leaving United States right now. It's almost like the Black women migration, right? And so that is the largest group that is leaving. And so we focus on helping them understand this is how you get a visa. We work with lawyers, professional in finance, international tax accountant, all the things that you would need to make sure that move is smooth. And in doing that, people realize, wow, you can just pick up and move and figure it out when you get there. But in some countries, depending on where you're going, you had to file for your visa before you left. Some
Mhm.
countries, you have to file for your visa once you're in the country. And then sometimes some of the documents that you needed to be, for your immigration are still in the US or you had to do it in the US. So we help them kind of walk through all of that. So I share all my experience, my knowledge, my skills with this group of women. And the thing is, like for me, I'm not just sharing because I did it once. I've done it several times, right? And I've done it professionally.
Right.
In and I'm helping to kill out some of the myths. Right, because most of our clients, are just like me. They have aging parents. I have a 90-year-old mom at early dementia. I have adult children who are still in the United States, and these are the things that usually are blocking them from moving, and I'm like, "I have that too, and I still move. You can too." So, it's more of giving people the courage to live the life that they dream about, to take
Sure.
it from a dream and make it a goal.
Sure. I love that. Now, one nice thing, and I appreciate this about South America, Central America, is it's not a short flight. Or well, let me rephrase that. The flight is not that long that you can't do it. You just have to
Yeah,
know
I'm
where
just
you're
4
gonna fly
hours
into.
away. It's
Yeah.
just, I mean, if I lived in New York and had to go to LA, is it not 4 hours?
Mhm.
Right? It's just a 4-hour flight. If I went to Hawaii, that's 8.
Right.
So, it's only 4 hours away, and for some places, a lot of places, it's a nonstop flight.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I would love if we could do a quick, kinda navigate through the website, kinda introduce folks to your
Yeah.
program,
Mhm.
and because we are gonna do video, so I don't think they definitely don't wanna see my face, but all the time, but that's why I like to do the video. Let me get my little share button. There it is. The miracle of technology.
I know.
Alright, let me hang on one second here, get your website up,
Mhm.
and now we have that. Alright, so we should be seeing your website.
I'm seeing it.
Excellent. So, let's talk a little bit, these women look very happy. All right. Relocate.
But not in
I
United
like
States
this.
anymore. That's
That's
why.
right. Relocate with intention, live with freedom. So take us on by the way, I love the title, Global Bougie BFFs Collective. I love that. I've heard the word bougie 3 times this week, so there's something about it. So take us on a little tour, Sable.
Okay, so a tour of the website. So what we have here basically is the focus of the women who are leaving. So you talk about that picture. I want to go back to that photo for a
Okay.
minute. So you talk about this picture of these women, and this is the expressions and the things that are on their t-shirt is exactly the climate of where these women were feeling, which is why they moved,
Hmm.
right? They were like, she did it, so can I, right? And so these t-shirts are actually also the things that I hear my clients saying, like they need rest. Rest is my resistance because this is where a lot of people are stressed out. So you'll see on this site that it's really giving people the liberation and the freedom that it's okay. It is very okay for you to live in another country. It does not mean that you're not loyal to the United States. It
Hmm.
it doesn't talk about your patriotism or your level. You can be a very patriotic person and still want to live in another country
Hmm.
because we still pay our taxes. The IRS is still looking for us, and we
Right.
still pay our taxes. So it does not have to do with, your patriotism. And then if you move down, it talks about our mission. So our mission is not just about helping you move, but it's also about helping you to have the finances that you need to move. Because a
Hmm.
lot of times people, that is a big fear, like, how am I going to make money when I move? And so we show women how they can make money even once they live abroad. Most of these women are very talented and skilled. They've left very good jobs. Some of them take their jobs with them, and those skills are transferable online or even to other companies. And so as you
I,
move down, it talks about why do you should choose us.
I
We
love
are like
that.
a one-stop shop.
I love
Can I
that.
move down?
And that's important. And to be able to get some of the answers to these questions, at least becoming better informed than when you started.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And so
Okay.
we also give not only do we give relocation support, but we also ensure that people have community,
Hmm.
by connecting them with other communities, expat communities to the countries they're going with. And we have the
Okay.
cultural immersion where we have scouting trips. We have a trip coming up in March where we're taking people to Panama. So we also are doing that. We also are going to Portugal. We're going to Dubai and helping people who want to relocate see the country first, and we
Mhm.
take them on a relocation trip, not a vacation, where we help them go to the supermarkets, look at the housing, talk to immigration lawyers, talk to real estate professionals. We put all that in place. So this way people can make a very informed relocation decision.
I love that. I like the fact that you're going to these countries to check it out. And the fact, you stayed at a Airbnb for a month. I mean,
Mhm.
that before you make the move, that I think that is wonderful. I mean, I can take my computer. At least I would imagine. I mean, that actually brings up another question. One of my computers is a client computer. I don't know if they'd feel very comfortable with me taking their computer to another country. I certainly would feel better taking my computer to another
Mhm.
country, but it's still okay. I got to think about this because my computer is my life. My microphone is my life.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Look,
Absolutely, and that's one
that,
of the things, like, knowing does that place have good Wi-Fi, and there's excellent Wi-Fi in all 3 countries I just mentioned that we're gonna be touring,
mhm.
and that's what allows people to still make a very good living abroad. If you just need to have good Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I mean, that literally is for me, that's all I need is Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
Okay.
steady Wi-Fi.
All right. Now we have our relocation specialist. That looks just like you.
That's
All
she
right.
looks like I think I know her. I think I
I think
know
I
her.
know her. All right. So now we got to schedule. We've got a schedule a discovery call.
Yeah,
Eh,
because a lot of times people are wondering, like, can I? And, so we do have like conversations to help people get clear. And that is really so important about people being clear on why they want to move. And this is our relocation readiness quiz. And for people who are thinking about moving, they want to move, they're not really sure. Am I ready? Is this really for me? This helps people understand exactly where they are in their own journey of relocating if they're
okay.
actually ready. And it's just asking questions about basically your finances, how do you want to live, where you're thinking about living. And at the end, you get to find out what stage you are at for relocating. And I think it's
Okay.
good for anyone, someone who wants to do 3 months in, 3 months out, or whatever, someone who wants a full relocation, someone who wants to be a digital nomad. This quiz here will give you an idea of where you are.
I love it. I love it. So let's go back. And now, was there a like your program? Is that the collective?
Yeah, that's the collective. And so this is our collective where women who join us who are saying, "Yes, I need some guidance," and we have a membership program. In
Okay.
our membership program, we go step by step from why do you want to move? Then we help when you get that down pat, why, what's your lifestyle, country, rule, or then we go into what mission. I'm sorry, then we go into what kind of money do you have? Before you can start thinking about countries, you better know how much money you have,
Right.
right? And you better know the sources of where that money comes from. And we do that before people choose their country, because this way you can use your finances in the ideal of your lifestyle to determine what countries are going to be good for you.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. And then got scouting trips, which is one
Hmm.
you're just were talking about, strategic relocation planning, income opportunity exposure, experts in residence. That's where I want to be. Okay. Sable, that's where I want to be. Right there.
All right. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I can AI you into that photo if you like, or you
I
can.
love it. Okay. And then we can join the collective 99 a month. That's reasonable.
Hmm.
997 per
Yeah, and
year.
then you have all the access to experts. I tell people who, especially people who are traveling from country to country, one of the biggest mistakes I think people forget is when I say that the IRS is still checking for you. You are still responsible to file your taxes. It doesn't matter what country you live in, as long as you're still holding onto that passport and it's in your passport. And so we have our international tax accountant will let people know. That's our one of our experts in residence. Hey, a country you're thinking about going to live in, do you know if they have double taxation? Do so you want to know that sometimes before you choose that country.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, very good.
And that's important for digital nomads as well. As
Yeah.
they're moving around, you need to know that.
I will, okay, I can live here too.
Let's have what?
I would place a bet. I'm in Las Vegas, so I'm allowed to bet, wager, excuse me, that a lot of people don't realize like the double taxation. It's like the last thing on their list.
Absolutely. The
I can
first thing is
imagine.
living by the beach.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's a question that was going on in my mind. I want to
Yes.
absolutely. All right. Guys can join. All right. Well, I love this. And I think this is a great service for anybody that wants to make this move. I want to stop sharing here. And so for our listeners, we're visiting couple pages here, the yourelevatedexperiences.com, and we just did a click to another landing page, Bougie BFFs.com, and at the home, and you can learn more about this collective. All right. I love the word bougie. There's something about that word. That's my word of the day.
Right, you don't wanna go to a country and be on the struggle bus. That is definitely you financially, you do not wanna struggle in someone else's country,
Yeah.
and at this stage of our lives, we should be able to live just a little bit better than we were living in the previous stage of our lives, right?
Hmm.
And whatever that means for you, that freedom, Bougie is also about being bold, right? Being bold with our choices, bold in our decisions, and that's, a huge part of it.
Yeah. And I think, w- you know, we always think about what we can't do, and I love, from a coaching perspective, okay, you can't do, but if you could, what are the first things that you would do? And then
Yeah.
the next, and then the next. And I love the fact that, this was definitely on, I mean, it was in your DNA because having lived in multiple countries in Africa, and then making this decision, you actually are a great role model because you've done it, and there's safety in knowing somebody is available to help coach them and mentor them through the change, because this is a huge change. I love this. This is great, Sable. I really appreciate you taking the time to join me on the podcast today, and we're we do interview a lot of chambers of commerce and destination marketing organizations. Hey, I would even imagine there's a destination organization or a chamber in Panama, so we could do some podcast episodes with them if you want to set that up. But
Okay.
I think this is fantastic for anybody who's ever thought about doing it. You've just provided them a number of steps forward to make some to start to make some of those decisions or ask those
Yeah.
questions. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's always great having a conversation with you.
Fantastic. Now, before we head out, besides our website, and we'll have those backlinks in our show notes, is there anywhere else, social sites like LinkedIn or Facebook that you want to send people to?
Well, we do
Well,
have a podcast and it's called The Bougie Expats. And we
okay.
do have a podcast, and there we share all about the experience of moving and how to make money that travels with you, what you should be thinking about, and the different opportunities for income generation, and also showing you what life could be like when you live abroad.
I love it. I love it. And we'll provide those backlinks in our show notes. I do have two very important questions.
Okay.
Do you like coffee?
I love coffee. I'm not a coffee lover like you. I do not drink it every day, but I do drink coffee
Okay, so then Panama has
occasionally.
good coffee?
Panama has good coffee.
Okay, that's very good to know. And has your golf score improved?
My golf score has not improved. My golf game is actually worse, probably because I've been so busy inside working on with my clients on helping them to relocate. So I have dedicated, I was like, this year, every Thursday is golf day.
There you go. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Well, Sable, again, thank you so much for spending time with us. This will be a great addition to our podcast. And for anybody who has this dream that they want to put into reality, and you've done it, and now you're helping others do it as well. So I love the fact that you're able to share that with our audience.
Thank you.
All right. Listen, stay on the line. We're going to do a very quick close, and you and I can have a final chat. All right, folks, we have just been chatting with Sable Ryan. She's a good friend from my mastermind a couple of years ago. Now she is literally living the life, though she is in Maryland right now, freezing, but she has made this leap to relocate to Panama. And now she is helping others, especially, women, African-American women in their 40s and 50s, really start to make that leap how do I have a life that I want? And really this idea of, the lifestyle, the relocating, and realizing the world is your oyster. And there are countries around the world that are perfect opportunities for you to explore and create a new life for yourself. And that's what she's here for, in addition to working on her golf game. Now, we will provide all the backlinks to Sable's website, yourelevatedexperiences.com, and the Bougie BFFs. I love that name, Bougie. We'll provide those links in our show notes. We've got our LinkedIn profile, and we'll also have a link to the podcast, the Bougie Expats podcast. Now, as for us, our episode will be up on our website, outdooradventureseries.com. We're also on our Facebook and LinkedIn pages, Outdoor Adventure Series. The episode will be published up on YouTube, which will include the video of the episode so you can see the navigation of the website. And of course, you can listen to this podcast wherever you listen to your podcast from. So if you are on a trip across the Atlantic, the Pacific, down to Central or South America, store a couple podcast episodes like this one on your computer and enjoy. And until next time, we look forward for you to really take advantage of the Outdoor Adventure Series and all the great guests that we have and the great information that's being shared. Until next time, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, go out there and have a fantastic day. Take care.